2025, 6 p.m. regular meeting. Please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. Please stand for the invocation given by Mr. Larry Dunaway, followed by the pledge to the flag.
Oh Lord, please help all these people that have come tonight to make decisions for our county, and bless all those in attendance here. And also let's remember that 81 years ago last Friday, one of the greatest generations of America stormed the troops of Normandy and liberated Europe. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is to adopt the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, we got 3 additions.
3 additions.
Under new business number 7, parcels 108-003 and 108-002-001. That's 108-003, 108-002-001. Number 8, confirmation of E911 expenditures for fiscal year 24. Confirmation of E911 expenditures for FY24. And number 9, set public hearings for June 24th, 2025 for variance for Hidden Meadow and road closure Old Woodbury to Cane Creek. So set public hearings for June 24th, 2025 for the variance for Hidden Meadows and for road closure of Old Woodbury to Cane Creek. We need to separate it.
One, as long as they want to approve them all in one, you can do it.
That's it,
Middle
Mr.
Road, Cane Creek, what?
Old Woodbury to Cane Creek.
It's actually Cane Creek or Cane Creek Road? It's
The
actually
road
Cane Creek.
from Old Woodbury is Cane Creek Road. From Old Woodbury Road to Cane Creek.
Cane Creek Road. It's a
Other
road.
side of Cane Creek Road.
No more additions.
All right, with those 3 additions, we have a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Do you have any presentations?
No, sir.
Finance report?
Commissioners, Jamie had an obligation she had to go to, so I'm presenting financial reports. Listed all your bank balances. There is no concern of any balances for finance. You will see the updated amounts that were generated from LGIP. Just the general fund has brought in $44,428 for this month of May, bringing us almost $300,000 for the year in interest off of that fund. And just over $100,000 in the special project LGIP for year to date. So good interest returns on our investments on that one. You have the Law SPLOS, T-SPLOS, and this is the first of the 2025 T-SPLOS distribution that's came in, or allocation that's came in. Your second page is your SPLOS and T-SPLOS commitments. You will see on the T-SPLOS you have 2020 and 2025. We'll separate those out so we can keep track of them. But your 2020 SPLOS balance as of today is 826,425.96. T-SPLOS is 513,635.81. And you see our commitments there. Jail plumbing is ongoing. Culverts, we should be getting an invoice in any time now. Brian just picked up the saw blade, so that'll be coming out, and then our match for AOMIG.
Good. Any questions about the finance report? Do we have any department head speaking?
I just have an update from the Recreation Department. Alan's getting ready for the tournaments that are being held this weekend. He sent an email. The 10U Dizzy Dean tournament was in Meriwether County Thursday through Saturday. The 10U boys won against Bowden, 8-7. So the 10U And they're looking at if they want to go to Dizzy Dean State Tournament where only one team is registered, or if they want to go to the GRPA tournament. But they will be holding the 8U coach pitch, and our 8U softball team will be going to Heard County for District 4 tournament. Meriwether County will be hosting the 10U live arm baseball and the 10U live arm softball District 4 tournaments Friday and Saturday. And they would like to thank the commissioners for the new concession trailer. It was nice to work out of it. They had numerous compliments about it. They still have some logistics to figure out, but overall it made it much easier for them to serve concessions out of it.
All right, any other department head?
No, sir.
No citizen comment?
No, sir.
So we have the minutes from the May 27th, 2025 regular meeting, 6 p.m.
Before you make that motion, I have corrected the minutes. Commissioner Snelson found a couple of typos, and I did correct everything, so they are as written.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as written. All in favor? No public hearings?
No.
The next item is appointments. Number 1, appointment to the Recreation Advisory Board, District 1, term from July the 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027. Do we have an appointment or do we need to table it?
It's my district. Yeah, I've got a Miss Martine Foster. She's already a volunteer, works for the Recreation Department. Just about every day there's something going on in the field. She'd love to serve on the advisory board, so I spoke with her, talked to her about it, and she's all on board, so if no other problems or anything like this, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Martine Foster to the District 1.
I'll second.
All in favor?
You just get me her information, I'll get her
I told her I'd
letter
give
out.
it to you, and y'all reach out to her. Yes, ma'am.
Item 2, appointment to the Recreation Advisory Board, District 2, same term, July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026.
I'd like to table that until our next meeting on
Do we have a
June
motion?
24th. Yes, sir.
I'll second.
All in favor? Item 3, appointment to the Recreation Advisory Board, District 3, term is July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Johnny Williamson of Woodbury to the Recreation Advisory Board, District 3.
I'll second.
All in favor? Item 4, appointment to the Recreation Advisory Board, District 4, term July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026.
We need a table mine, it's in the form of a motion until the June 24th meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Item 5 is appointment to the Recreation Advisory Board, District 5, term July 1st through 2025. July 1st, 2025 through June 20th, 2027. I have a question about that. Why is that June 20th and the other one's are June 30th?
Yes,
It's
typo.
a typo, it should be June the 30th.
Okay. It's my district, so I'd like to make a motion to appoint Vic Dallas to fill that term with the correction of until June 30th, 2026.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Unfinished business, there is none. New business, 2025 to 2026 ACCG renewal contribution worksheet. Approve and allow chairman or vice chairman to sign.
Commissioners, the current insurance policy with ACCG IRMA is set to expire on June 30th, 2025. The total premium for the upcoming coverage for July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026 is $700,607 with a 5% discount of $35,030 for having a safety coordinator. This results in a net cost of $665,577 for the coverage year. You can see the summary since 22 to 23 was $375,763. The following year went up 46% to $547. Following year, almost at 17.5% to $661. We're at 0.55% for this year, about a little under a $4,000 increase at $665,577. Staff recommends approval to continue coverage with ACCG IRMA for the upcoming policy year, July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026, allowing the chair or vice chair to sign the agreement for $665,577.
Okay. Any discussion about this meeting? I'll make a motion to, with staff recommendation to approve continued coverage of ACCG IRMA.
I'll make a motion, we approve the continued coverage with ACCG Irma for the upcoming policy year, July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026, with allowing chair or vice chair to sign.
Second.
All in favor? Number 2, resolution, State of Georgia Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia State Paid County Reimbursed Personnel contract and allow chairman and vice chairman to sign.
Commissioners, this resolution authorizes the district attorney to enter into a contract with the Prosecuting Attorneys Council, enabling the funds appropriated by the Board of Commissioners for the DA's office to be classified as state funds for the purpose of providing employees benefits and contributing to a retirement. Per state legislation, this action is required every 3 years. Additionally, with the creation of the new judicial circuit, this resolution now requires formal approval by the Board of Commissioners, and we need authorization from the chairman or vice chairman to execute the agreement. Nathan has reviewed the resolution and is available to provide further explanation if needed.
So it has been reviewed by legal.
Yes, sir.
So everybody good?
Yes, sir, it's just so that the funds, y'all pay them and count towards their state retirement, state benefits, so they were making more money directly with the state.
Do we need to read the resolution
And that's, you can, but you don't need to.
out loud?
Yeah, you don't need to, but you can.
Do we have any?
The only thing I had a question about is what needs to be signed if approved. I know the resolution, but there was also another.
It's the contract, the SPCR contract.
But I didn't see a place for our board. I sent both of them.
Looks like it's signed by John Cranford, District Attorney, and Peter
That's
Sedenkis.
between county, that's between,
She sent me that with it. That's why I was wondering if we needed to do anything with that portion.
so see, this is between council of prosecuting attorneys and this is not, y'all are not party to this time.
Okay.
Okay, any other,
Makes sense.
any other discussion about this item? We have a motion from the board. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Item 3 is consideration of purchase of priority valve for Hyundai HX-85 for public works.
Commissioners, I'll let Brian Griffin give you a rundown on this one. You have a synopsis of the next 2 items, and Brian is here to go over those 2 more in depth.
Okay. So the Honda that we recently bought, I wasn't privy to the process, but there were some things omitted from the tractor to get the price to where they wanted the price to be. Unfortunately, this priority valve was one of those things that powers the attachment. Anybody that knows anything about equipment, anytime you have an attachment, it calls for a high flow of hydraulics to go to said attachment. So the manufacturer came down and turned the whole hydraulic system up on the tractor to supply the head with enough hydraulic fluid. Unfortunately, it supplies that much hydraulic fluid to the whole tractor. So operation of said tractor is very quick, jerky, erratic. But not only that, it's blowing hydraulic lines off of it. It's just a matter of time until we start blowing pumps off of it because they're doing everything that they can all the time. This priority valve, what it does is it limits the hydraulic flow to the tractor for smooth operations while supplying the needed hydraulic fluid to the attachment. Most of the time when you buy a tractor like this, it comes with a high flow valve of some kind. This one did not.
And the price of that valve is $17,719.57.
What was the price of the track?
140.
Yeah.
So the initial bid that I saw was like 195. The priority valve was struck, the mulching head was struck, and the operator cage was struck to get it to that price. Unfortunately, now we're building a cage for the operator because blades are breaking and flying off. So that shouldn't have been omitted from the first thing. And now we're putting this priority valve in it. On the specs, it would cost $10,000 to add it as a feature, but now they have to go back in and do it. And we're gonna be out of it for 4 weeks.
This is the machine we just bought.
Yeah,
We bought it brand new.
yes.
And who's the supplier we bought this from?
National Equipment Dealers.
Because they know darn well you gotta have that priority valve on there for high
Should-
efficiency.
Should have. I mean, everything
I
I've
mean, they
ever.
should at least said, you know,
So
do you want us, if someone said take it off, so we gotta get it down,
I
we
think
need
that's-
them to tell us that, but if they.
Yeah, I think that's what
If they snuck around and didn't say, you're gonna need this,
right.
you don't buy that piece of equipment and knowing you're gonna need that, and knowing, so if.
So I don't know
I'd
if-
like to know where that fell out.
And I don't know. It was before I got there. I don't know if somebody here told them, we'll get the price down, whatever it takes. And then the salesman goes, well, it's fine. I'll just turn up the pumps for you so you won't need it. Well, that's a salesman. That's not a mechanic. That's not an operator. That's a salesman saying, I get you what you need, even if it's not right.
Do you know if that's the everyday normal price, or are they working a deal with us because we done bought the machine?
No, that's the normal price.
And I think someone ought to reach out to them, they need to work with us to make that happen. Or we won't purchase I wouldn't purchase anything from them again.
I've never dealt with them before, ever. I don't.
Do we have to use this vendor for that, or is it something we can check prices? Since we bought the machine recently, do we have to still use this company, or can we check elsewhere?
You're going to want to send it to somebody who works on the Hyundais,
Right,
and they're about the only ones around that do. You know, if you have a Caterpillar, you're going to send it to Cat. You don't want to necessarily a Volvo mechanic working on a.
It'll take out the warranty if you do.
Yeah.
Correct. And it's still under warranty, which is another problem. You know, we're blowing hydraulic lines off a brand new tractor.
Now, are they covering that under the warranty since their representative raised the hydraulic pressure?
They are not.
That shouldn't, I mean, not like you guys did it to avoid the warranty. Their representative came out and did it.
Correct. It didn't void the warranty by turning up the hydraulic flow.
They're calling that a wear item?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's
How many hours have you used it?
Machine with a
300.
mulching head, it's gotta have high flow.
Yeah.
Well, see, and that's another thing. It should have had a mulching head with it instead of this lawnmower attachment that we have, because we're forestry mulching with this machine, cutting back right away. And in essence, we bought a 48-inch bush hog to put on the end of it. And I mean, if it's bigger than that, it shouldn't be cutting it anyways. Whereas if you had a mulching head, you know, it can be as big as my leg. Again, that was $23,000 extra on the 140.
Well, it looked like to me when I looked at it out there, it's not even as heavy as a boom axe.
No, it's not.
It was supposed to be as heavy or heavier than the boom axe.
It is a lawnmower.
It's a cheap attachment for what it is. I guarantee you can get a bush hog that's better than the one that's on it.
You can, but it's not made to cut trees. I mean, it's made to cut grass. It's a bush hog. So what we have,
I mean, the boom axe, it's made to cut the trees, ain't it?
correct, it has
That's what I'm
three.
saying, that's what we were supposed to get on that machine. They done
Ah.
got around here and put a
Something happened along the
wrap
way.
on it. Looks
Something
like.
happened along the way. I'm not sure.
But so according to the quote you saw when it was ordered, it came with everything that quote said. We were just missing some things, but what's on it is what was on the quote.
The original, yes. And then it was,
So they didn't swindle us with.
No.
It's cheap bid
No.
on it. Okay.
they,
So this tractor is dangerous and going to continue to cost a lot of money in repairs unless we do this priority valve, or we can't use it to cut back right of ways. We just use it for other things,
cutting grass.
which we bought it to cut back right of ways. So, okay. So if we don't get the priority valve, you don't get to cut back right of ways.
And this is going to fix it to the degree that you need.
Yes, to the hydraulic system. You're still gonna have a bush hog on the end of it, not a
He
mulching
still
head.
wishes he was getting a mulching head.
Yeah, we still got a
That's
$140,000 lawnmower.
Right. Instead of and y'all will see me again come budget time in October, and I will be asking for a mulching head during the budgetary process for this mower. And right now, they're $23,750. October, they might be more, I don't know. But it's definitely something I'm gonna ask for. But right now, it's worthless without the valve. And unfortunately, we're gonna be out of it a month to take it to their shop to get fixed.
Funding source would be T-Splosh.
I make a motion to approve purchase of the priority valve, not to exceed $18,000 funded for T-Splosh.
Second.
All in favor?
Can we ask them to work on that price with us though?
I can.
Tell them if that's the normal price for everybody, and we just bought this machine.
Sure.
I think they should give it to us at whatever their cost is or whatever to help with the product,
I'll do my best.
and let us know if they did or
No,
not.
I agree 100%.
All right, item 4 is decision on the road for demo of road widening machine by Public Works.
So we have a demo tentatively scheduled to come. They're kind of waiting on us. Where we do it was kind of the question, but it has come to my attention that we have a really bad problem on one of our roads that is in desperate need of shoulder widening, and that's Appleton Road. It's bad. It's been bad for a while, apparently. It's a 5.5 mile long road with heavy truck traffic on it, and the road's crumbling on the edges. It's full of holes. So I want to ask that either we extend the demo and rent the stuff for a month so we can do it in-house and build 1 foot paved shoulders down the whole stretch on both sides, or send it out to a contractor, get quotes on it. And either way we go, it's by far the number one priority that I've run across in my time here as far as safety goes. It's something that has to be addressed, whether it be through a contractor or in-house.
Didn't we just do a lot of paving on Allison Road? Or not?
And
No.
They did restriping through GDOT.
which most of it's in the dirt on the outside edges because there's nowhere to stripe.
So you said 5.5 miles.
Yeah.
And your recommendation is to rent it for a month and do it before the demonstration?
As part of, so extending, we're gonna get the demo, they'll bring the equipment to us, you get 2 days or whatever. Rent it for a month, do all of Alveston Road, and then go hit a few more while we still have it. Just knock out as many as we can in that month's time.
And what's the price on that?
I gotta get a price from the contractors still on what they would charge.
Because it was originally 2 miles, right? For widening is what the demo was going to
Right, one down each side,
be. Right.
right.
So now we're looking at 3.5 more. Just on one side.
Down on one side, yeah.
So 7 more
It'd be
miles.
11 miles,
Yeah.
lane miles. So, plus, that's weather varying, it's gonna take us 2 weeks in-house to do it, which leaves us 2 weeks on the rental to do.
Right. So what we originally talked about was 2 miles. Now you're talking about additional 9 miles of widening.
We need to know what that costs before we approve it.
Yeah.
Sure, and like I said, I'm gonna get, I'm waiting on contractors calling back to get their quotes. I can tell you what the what rentals would cost for a month. Road widening machine is $5,900 a month. The broom would be $4,850 per month, and the roller would be $2,500 per month. Those are the 3 pieces we would need to do it in-house. But we'd have to lease trucks and asphalt, and I'll get all that prices for you before our next meeting. Contract the prices versus what we can do it for with the
Close to
rental.
14 grand just to get that equipment.
Correct, for a month.
And then we gotta lease trucks at, what was it, 800 or 900 a day? $100 an hour?
100,
$800 a day?
115 an hour, yeah.
And I'm sure you know how to run that, but do we have employee staff that can run all that?
We do. But I'll get, like I said, I just want to know if everybody, be on everybody's mind that next meeting I'm gonna have some prices for you, but it's something that needs to be addressed at this point. We got people popping tires, people breaking mirrors off each other. And if you ever get a chance to go sit at that little store there at the corner, just for 20 or 30 minutes during the day, just watch the trucks that come down that road. I mean, it's just one after another.
So truck rental, 3 trucks, $800 a day, $2,400 a day, roughly. How many days of the month? Was it 20 working days, Monday through Friday, or we talking maybe 15? Or?
On that particular project,
Yeah.
it would take 8 days,
8 days.
8 working days.
Let's see, another 20 grand for that. And then how much asphalt? I mean, I know, just guess.
Let me do a calculation real quick. No, you're fine. I just need to bust out a calculator.
I mean, right now, we're sitting at $34,000. And all we gotta do is the asphalt now. We're done with it. That's without any of the mileage being a demo. So, say it's 20 grand for asphalt, 30 grand. It's $55,000 to get this road fixed right.
Yeah, but then we gotta patch the holes.
And then eventually
He's got
level and top it.
Yeah, I know, but I mean.
We got a whole crew, they can be running right there behind.
You can double, sometimes triple that cost by the time you get it done. Easy.
So you need 513 tons roughly. About 33 loads of asphalt at $1,200 a load.
$1,200 for the asphalt, and the truck's about $150 an hour.
Yes, for the lease truck. Now, we have 3 of our own, so of course we're gonna utilize those.
Yeah, but I don't think we want to tie our 3 up on that
Not necessarily.
all the time.
And, yeah, the more you have truck-wise, the more you get done per day, the more value you get out of the rental equipment. It's just finding out what the balance would be. I'm
What
thinking,
happens if we rent all this and all of a sudden we have 2 or 3 weeks straight running? We still pay for it.
I think so. I don't know what they're pretty good about working with us. I have a good rapport with Reynolds Warren. I don't think that they would be like, all right, y'all have had it for 3 weeks. It's rained every day. You still owe us all this money. I think they would extend it for us. I don't,
I'd ask that question.
yeah, I don't see it being a problem, but I'll definitely ask.
I think they would too, but I would
Yeah.
like for it to be in writing that.
Sure.
If it's
Sure.
inclement, whether we understand, we extend it,
Yeah, I'm sure there's some kind of, something in our contracts that have to,
So get all that information and bring it back.
that's right.
Thank you.
But you're asking us for a decision on the road, so we don't have to make that decision tonight. Is there another road in comparison, or is this a big road?
No, I mean, I really think it should, like, as far as just the demo, if we had a demo for 2 days, I would recommend doing Judson Bullock there at White House Parkway, just doing the radiuses about a mile down each side, and your demo would be over with. Would help that road, sure, but renting the stuff and doing it ourselves, we could do Albleton Road and Judson Bullock, and however much more we can get done in that said month. But I'll get I got a couple of companies I'm waiting on. They're gonna give me prices, and then I'll have a total what it costs us in-house, and then y'all can weigh out all the options. I just want everybody to know that it needs to be addressed one way or another.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Nope. So you'll have all that information in the next meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we need to
Table this,
make a motion to table the, discuss the road for demo widening machine to June 24th, 2025, 6 p.m.
Second.
all in favor? Item 5, miscalculation of 2020 T-SPLOST funds for municipalities.
Commissioners, Richard Hartley, the CPA for the city of Greenville, recently brought to my attention that error in the percentage allocation for the 2020 T-SPLOST and the SPLOST. Both of them were, county was getting 65.01 and Greenville was getting 4.06. Greenville should have getting the 4.07. So Greenville is owed 0.01 of all the allocations for T-SPLOST and SPLOST. Those amounts for SPLOST is 875.27 T-Splosh is $731.57. So under $1,000 each that we owe the city of Greenville.
How much?
$875.27 for Splosh, $731.57 for T-Splosh.
For a total of? 16. Okay.
16, little over 1,600.
What was it?
$1,606.84.
You beat me by a split second.
That's Mr. Number sitting right there.
So,
He beat me by a split second. I was calculating in my head as well.
so if I found an error also, can I recalculate? And what are we basing his error and justification?
This is based off the IGA.
We validated that his error
Correct.
is not an error, it's
No,
actually.
it's an error based off of prior to me arriving for finance director now that Greenville was owed 0.01%. They were 4.07%, and the county was getting 65.01%. So it's just a miscalculation. Whoever set up the sheet had the wrong figures in there, and we just need to square it up for the IGA and make it right.
So will that funding come out of our SPOS and our T-SPOS?
Correct.
Okay.
Motion from the board,
So move.
Motion.
Oh, Schultz. No, she made the motion. I make second.
all in favor? Item 6, discussion on allocating funds in the general projects line item.
Commissioners, the general project line item currently holds $3,660,692.86 in the LGIP fund and $30,242.02 in the bank account for a total of just shy of $3.7 million. When this line item was originally established, the Board of Commissioners approved a motion that any expenditures from this fund will first be brought back to the board for review and allocation prior to any spending. At this time, staff is requesting board consideration to allocate a portion of these funds towards county building renovations and ambulance purchases. There are still remaining funds in the current SPOS to support both of these purposes. It is also important to note that the 2020 SPOS will expire on December 31st, 2025, and a renewal of the SPOS is scheduled to take place on the November ballot.
What percentage are you requesting?
For the buildings and ambulance, the buildings themselves, we probably need close to 50%. Because that's going to be mainly the courthouse. So
We're
maybe
going to do a
we
special project off the SPOS.
looked at that, and then in talking with the cities and talking with legal, when Michael was here, if we put a dollar amount on it, I'm afraid SPOS will not pass if we put $1 million, $3 million tier 1 project on SPOS. Because the courthouse, EMC has estimated the roof and the third floor to be about 1.2 million. And we do have that almost in the SPOS built up currently. That's at 826. And before it ends for the end of the year, we'll have over the 1.2 million in SPOS.
I just disagree with that decision on not doing a special project.
I mean, that big a scale or just in general? 50% or?
No, I'm talking about not doing the special project on the SPOS.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because that is something that everybody pays for that comes in the county. It's a sales tax addition instead of the taxpayers having to take the burden on of doing that. This came from everybody paying it. And I think that we should have done that and tried for it. I think the SPOS would have passed had we added this special project to it. It's a tier 1 project, and we would have got $1.5 to $2 to $3 million off the top. The cities would have put back into that too and helped to pay for the courthouse instead of now having to take it out of other funds that we need in other places. I just know it's worked very well in other counties.
Yes, sir.
And this money came in, this was during the COVID situation where the federal government pushed in so many millions of dollars into this. Originally, the board that was here at that time, and I was part of that because I've been here forever, it seems, but we had talked about doing something to put back in the community for the people because that was money we were never expected to do. And if we took that $3 to $4 million and put it and made a difference in the county for the citizens, the taxpayers of the county, That's where I wanted it to go, but it's a different day now, and it's been sitting in this account for so long. It's gonna be used for other things that we should be utilizing other funds for in the first place, like T-Splosh is made for highways or trucks, vehicles, anything to do with that. Splosh is made for other special projects too. So now we've missed out on a tier 1 project for Splosh with the cities, which could have paid for most of the courthouse renovation. We're looking at taking it out of this fund, and in my personal opinion, we're taking it away from the citizens of the county. So that's my thoughts on that.
Where's the money from the recent land sale? What account did that go into?
It went into the general fund. That's about 400,000. And I did get clarity from the auditors on how to properly record. Like Commissioner Thurgood wanted to lock the expense in, how we can allocate funds for buildings in the upcoming budget. I did have a conversation with auditors how we can justify and record those correctly. So there's several funding opportunities to do what we need done with the buildings, the ambulances, vehicles countywide.
I agree with what he's saying, a lot of what he's saying, because of we need to do something for the county with the money that was, was basically given to us. But at the same time, the money's been sitting there 2.5 years. I know that I've been here, and we've got all of these issues that we need to address. We could address. But at the same time, I understand and agree with his sentiment that I'd hate to see it all go to that. I definitely don't want to see ambulances purchased with it. That's my opinion. That we could have these other accounts are designed just for those things. Yeah, I mean, I just like, in my opinion, I don't have a problem spending some of that money. And if we can allocate special accounts, I don't have a problem spending some of that money now to fix a problem, instead of having to wait for Splosh to get approved in November and then it go on in January and then earn enough to do it. We have the funds sitting there to go ahead and do some things. But then how do we commit to build that fund back up? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what special project we gonna do for 3.6 million? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what we can't get certain things that would cost tens of millions of dollars to do, but
You got to be creative.
yeah.
I'm like the chairman, I agree with Ray Gill too, but, Commissioner Threadgill, excuse me.
Oh, okay.
But it's time to get something done on the courthouse.
Yeah.
And when all that land transition went through the IDA and so forth, we already talked, or we hoped that maybe the day would come, that money could go towards it too, because that's money we didn't have sitting anywhere that came in, and you said it's almost $400,000, so I think that and some of this, other money that like he's talking about, the 3 point something sitting there, we can't spend all of it, but we're on our 3rd year and we've been talking about courthouse for us. 3 of us came on here and everybody keeps asking about the courthouse. The judges keep asking about the courthouses. Attorneys want to know about the courthouse. Citizens want to know about the courthouse. The courthouse has got to be fixed.
Yes, sir.
And we can't.
Sorry to interrupt, but it is going to be. I mean, we've been in there.
Yeah, I know, we're talking about we're gonna use this money for all or not, and whatever we've gotta keep moving forward and saving that building before it's beyond.
I like to think about it like this. If the federal government had not given us this $3.6 million, and we're still in the situation we're in right now, what would be the suggestion without looking at that money? Where would we be doing this from?
Splosh, the land sale, and then the surplus that we're running in the general fund. We probably are $3 million surplus right now in the general fund. Audited, they just sent me over the rough draft for the final, and I would estimate that's probably a $2 million surplus.
What's the federal and state regulation on that? What do we have to maintain?
Our ordinance state, we have to have 6 months of operating income in our fund balance.
And based on that, we're operating at about $3 million surplus.
We have well over 6 months of operating income in our fund balance. And like I said, speaking with the auditor, he clarified on me how to reallocate the land sales restricted for courthouse repairs or building repairs. We do have a task order for EMC for the chairman to sign tonight. They did agree to put in there a minimum of 1 year workmanship guarantee on any project during the RFP process. So I did have them add that to the task order. Michael says everything looks good. That says the board wants anything higher than a year, but at least a minimum of 1 year workmanship on anything done at the courthouse. And this will be the roof and the third floor that EMC estimates at 1.2 million.
So I'll make a motion, this is in the form of a motion, and we can call it or whatever, but I like to table this discussion on the general projects line item until a further meeting, allow us time to discuss the creativity options that Commissioner Thurgood mentioned.
I'll say it.
Could we do that on the July 7th meeting?
That's fine with me, is that fine with you?
That's fine.
All right, all in favor? But we do need to discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, budget time coming up, and give me a chance to look at the whole picture of everything and see where we can. This is, I want this to be like the last resort reserve fund that we'd have to pull money from for projects in the
Yeah,
county.
when we were about to say, okay, 50% of it could go, and then we'll turn around and come back and it's gone. I mean, that's what.
And like I said, when we do the building assessment that Commissioner Threadgill asked for, you know, we may find a tax building may need 500,000 and we can pull it from this account at the board
And that's what I
agrees.
want us to discuss, is that, you know, that's a great safety net to have. We may need to pull 50% of that to do this project. But we need to have things in place for how do we rebuild it? Because we want to do other things with it. And we may be that later on we find something else that we gotta do. But we don't have to abandon the ideals and goals and dreams we had of that category.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. It just brought it, just so the board remembers that we had that 3.6 cushion reserve put back for special projects.
Yes. All right. Next is item 7, I made the notes. You read it out. I can't write fast as you were talking.
I got you. Parcels 108,003 and 108,002,001.
Commissioners, these are currently titled in the name of the Meriwether County Board of Commissioners. Staff is requesting that ownership of these two parcels be transferred to the Meriwether County Airport Authority, as these parcels are located on Airport Authority property. Transferring these parcels to the Airport Authority will better position the Airport Authority to pursue and manage grant funding opportunities tied to the airport. Staff recommends that legal counsel be authorized to prepare the necessary documents to facilitate the transfer of these parcels from the Board of Commissioners to the Airport Authority, and that the chairman and vice chairman be authorized to sign the documents. I think Nathan's already started looking into what needs to be done on this.
That's what we discussed at the last meeting. Or the last meeting I was at.
I make a motion that legal counsel be authorized to prepare the necessary documents to facilitate the transfer from the Board of Commissioners to the Airport Authority, and that the chair or vice chair be authorized to sign.
Could we hold on a minute? Let's back up.
You got a motion first, ain't you?
We can still, we have a second or?
You can either, we can have a discussion, but
I
I didn't mean to interrupt you,
No,
but
that's fine.
she made a motion, I just didn't want to.
Proper way to do it is motion, second discussion, or you withdraw your motion and then do it.
I'll withdraw my motion.
That was so nice, Joe.
Go ahead, Tim.
Go ahead, Mr. Collins.
Well, I mean, what is the purpose of giving them this land?
I'll tell
Or
you,
putting it there?
because the airport authority, any airport, general aviation airport in this country,
Okay,
runs, by general aviation, I mean not commercial airline, Hartsville, Jackson.
right.
They pretty much exist because the federal government gives you that, about 90% of the money it takes to run. You know, and then they make you, they're called grant assurances, meaning you take this money, you're gonna have to rent the hangars at fair market value, you know, they're gonna make sure you're gonna use their money wisely. And all over, especially the South, you got, you know, back in the 60s, there wasn't much, a lot of people didn't have an airport authority, it was a county airport, so the county would buy the land. And then airport authorities came along. So what you've got, Cal, we just had to do it too. You got piecemeal ownership of the airport, some board of commissioners, some airport authority. The federal government wants to make sure that it's all owned by one person, one entity. So that's all that it is. It'll help with your funding and stuff like that.
well, the more property that's there, the greater possibility of a larger amount of funding.
Exactly.
So if they add this acreage to that and they can expand it with more hangars, then the federal government, the Federal Aviation will give more money in the grants to that because there's more property there.
It's the way of the FAA telling you without telling you.
Yeah.
But where those last hangars were built, it looked like to me they were built on Meriwether County property, not airport
Right,
authority
but it's
property.
all, that's what I'm saying is the airport itself, and they're all like this.
The only thing
You know, it's owned
that,
by the county and the airport authority.
the only thing that the authority owns is the land that around the lake and the little tract across south of, Harmony Road, or what road is that? Right there below.
Harmony Church
below the
Road.
House.
I tell you, your consultants have said that the FAA is very, very anxious for y'all to do this. So if you don't want to do it, we need to let the FAA know.
Well, my thing being is, you know, if we're gonna get more funding, when they get more, if they get the land, then they'll be able to get more funding. I don't see how the county's gonna afford it. If they build anything else, and we have to pay 25% of something else.
You don't have to necessarily build anything, it's just the value of what you have is at a higher
Yeah.
amount. So therefore, the grant can be higher that's given to you.
So you think instead of giving 75%, they'll get 90%.
And the way I look at it is whether it's under us or whether it's under them, and we had this discussion earlier, some of, it's still no taxes, but it benefits more being under that authority for federal funding to be given than it benefits to be under the Board of Commissioners.
Let me explain it to you this way. If you decided you wanted to sell that property because the Board of Commissioners, all the money that the FAA has given you all these years, they're gonna come want it back.
Oh, yeah, I understand
And
that.
it's probably more than the entire airport is worth.
Yeah.
So it's up to y'all. I mean, the FAA has said y'all do it. I don't know what's gonna happen if they don't. But
The only question I have about that, on the parcel map, it shows a small strip of land on the opposite side of Highway 27 as part of this parcel. Why would they need that at all?
I have no
That
idea.
was just
You
part,
see it on there in the blue section?
that was just part of the parcel.
Well, that's a
they
runway.
purchased.
You talking about up here?
No, on,
No,
right there.
on the other, on the,
Over here?
yeah.
Why would-
That may not be the exact drawing, because Keith Public's not attached.
These are the two parcels the FAA has identified.
Okay.
But, and refresh my memory, council, what's the difference between an authority and a board?
The board is the group that runs the authority. So Meriwether County is run by a board of commissioners.
Right.
Technically, the board of commissioners has no legal, you can't sue and be sued. Same with the airport authority. So the airport authority can own property, sue and be sued, and it is run by a board of directors. So just like y'all, changes periodically. But the board itself is just, it's like a board of directors that runs Coca-Cola.
But I mean, like the board at the hospital, or the board at the, doesn't
Yeah.
the authority have more power than just a plain board?
Yes, because they have authority. They can enter into contracts.
The authority has all the powers that the airport authority's law says. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a development authority or a hospital authority, or water and sewerage authority, but they all have different powers. But generally, they have the power to contract a lot longer than a board of commissioners does, or a county or a city does.
Okay, I'm done.
Is there a motion from the board?
I make a motion that we let legal counsel be authorized to prepare the necessary documents to facilitate the transfer of these parcels from the Board of Commissioners to the Airport Authority, and that the chair or vice chair be authorized to sign the documents.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Item number 8. Confirmation of E911 expenditures for fiscal year 2024.
Commissioners, in accordance with requirements from the Georgia Department of Audit and Accounts, the DOAA, all E911 fund expenditures must be submitted annually to the state of Georgia as part of our ongoing DOAA compliance. These expenditure figures are reported directly from the E911 fund 215 in the ledger. That report is right behind it. Staff is requesting approval of these reported expenditures and authorization for the chairman to sign the confirmation report. This is to keep us in compliance with DOAA. This is one of the final stages of that LRA money being released by GDOT. The audit is the last piece from DOA, and like I said, I just got an email saying they just gave me the final rough draft. If nothing changes, everything looks good, they'll send it off to publish, and hopefully I can get it back before probably Wednesday or Thursday and submit it to DOA. We did the same thing last year. It's done annually. It's required by state law.
Any discussion or motion from the board?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. All in favor?
I did,
I can't
sorry.
even turn fast.
Sorry.
All right, item number 9, set public hearing for June 24th, 2025 for variance for Hidden Meadows. Do we want to do those in one motion?
I would if they're gonna be on the same date, right?
All right,
You can
along
give me the
with,
case numbers so that
along with a public hearing for the closure of Old Woodbury Road to Cane Creek, also set on June 4th, 2025, 6 p.m.
Commissioners, Building and Zoning has advertised both of these public hearings for June 24, 2025 at 6 p.m. Staff recommends setting the public hearing for the variance for Hidden Meadows and the closure of Old Woodbury Road to Cane Creek Road.
I make a motion, we set the public hearing for June 24th, 2025 at 6 o'clock for the variance for Hidden Meadows and the road closure from Old Woodbury Highway to King Creek.
Second.
All in favor? We have a report from the county administrator.
Commissioners, earlier last week, I sat down with Dean Communications about public safety radios, the infrastructure. He's able to do a presentation on June 24th, but that meeting looks like it's filling up pretty fast, so I'm gonna ask him if he can be available to July 7th. The issue with that is he's got an idea to help build our infrastructure on our public safety radios. The sheriff's department has radios that are constantly searching for signals. And talking with Dean, he believes he has a ideal the way to get it from where we're at now to where to communicate to build into the future and just not fix it as a Band-Aid, one time go and be done. So he's putting together some proposals. I was hoping to have them by this meeting, but he has not emailed me that proposal for engineering.
Who is Dean?
Dean Communication, he's the one who's, I think, has done all the communication works in the
two-way
county.
radio, he's out of, I think, Fortson or
Is this
Midland.
the same guy we've been buying the radios from that
That-
came up and asked for?
The radios came from INET.
INET, different.
Because
different.
We went through and approved a lot of money a year, 18 months ago
Yes,
to upgrade radios and add a tower, something on the tower here to help all of this, just to find out that now we still got the same problem with all the sheriff's radios.
Yeah, and like I said, sitting down with Dean, he was very informative about his plan to get it what we have now working, and and I told him we didn't want a temporary Band-Aid. We want something that goes into the future, and he would like to come and do a presentation on his ideal infrastructure. But I'll see if he's available for July 7th, because the 24th is
Full.
My
full
opinion
now.
is we need to get somebody else's opinion also, have at least a couple of different vendors, just like an RFP.
I know Diverse Power has their own radio system that we could check into and see if we could become, because theirs reach out.
I
Have we
looked
reached
into
them?
that.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
Dean mentioned the verse up in the northern part of the county that we can partner with. Just hearing him, talking with him directly and his team, gave me a lot more reassurance than what I was getting from what we currently have. That I don't know if the miscommunication was Dean was telling Brand this thing and Brand never brought it back, or if it just got lost between administrations or what. But talking with Dean was a very promising sit-down
I
conversation.
would have
that
a
we had.
conversation with him and let him know that because this board did approve 18 months to 24 months ago an expansive amount of money for this radio system that is now defunct, that we would really like to have something presented that paves a very clear picture for us at the very minimal price that we can get for it to work for a very long period of time.
Yes, sir, that's the conversation I had with him as well.
Have we reached out to surrounding counties to see what companies what they're using?
Harris County is going through a $12 to $14 million upgrade, and Dean Communication is doing that one. He's done work in Pipe, Troop. I mean, just about all the surrounding area is Dean Communication has done them. And I think during that conversation, he's being bought out by another gentleman that's very knowledgeable in the infrastructure of the current system we have now and building off of it for future use.
I do know that Diverse did help out Harris County get some infrastructure up
Yeah.
for their radios.
But I just want to make sure, I hear the statement of, you know, everybody around us is doing this and with this person or this company. But so are they with other things that we do and other companies that we use. And we always seem to be, as Meriwether County, on the short end of the stick in timing of getting those things done, overpriced versus what our counterparts tell us in those other counties. We always end up with having to do whatever it is 2 and 3 times. So
When we
with
do
this
a
need to be
contract that
different.
guarantees the results,
I can ask him to see. I was waiting for his engineering.
That's
Yeah.
great.
that's an easy fix.
All right.
Pay you if the roof leaks,
Right.
Uh,
analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whether he'll do that or not, I don't know. That's one way you solve that problem, then we get him to sign a contract. And then we can enforce the contract.
And I don't know that the surrounding counties are not having to do this 2 or 3 times as well. You know, it's just the way life is out there. I don't know.
And
But
was
I do
just
know they
asking
have
for
more money than we
competitors.
do
Yeah.
to do that. Sorry.
I was just asking for like a scope of competitors in the area instead of just being the one
Right.
person. Everybody uses this one guy, or are other people using other companies that could be comparable?
I was going to check in that once he sent the engineering invoice so I can know compare apples to apples. Because right now I don't know anything about radios until I get that invoice.
Because what's in place
quote
right
from him.
now, it was tested through the Cove area, which is the most dead zone that we have throughout the county, and it was tested in, I believe it was the sheriff's office that came before us and said, yeah, it worked very well out there, and they recommended it as well, but now 6 months later, it's not working, there's a reason. So if they can explain to us why, in the beginning, this particular radio worked so well in such a dead zone area, and why it doesn't now, maybe we can figure it out too.
Something to do with the radio
Yes, sir.
itself, I believe, right?
I think so too. On the radios, they're more of a cell phone, LTE carrier, SIM card is what they're based off of. And then you can make, like I said, Matt probably knows more from me with the UHF or
You're gonna be taking over radios too.
so.
Now all these sales towers.
Like I said, I just think it'd be a productive presentation from Dean, just so y'all can get an idea of the infrastructure of Meriwether County and what we face. And then based off his engineer quote, I can reach out and see if anybody else would be interested in
We're
it.
not trying to tear apart what you're doing,
Right.
but we're trying to make sure you understand. We don't want a lot of information, a lot of reassurances, a lot of guarantees.
All right, I explained that to him
We're tired
exactly.
of spending money on the same things over and over again in this county, and somebody's gonna have to start taking Meriwether County serious.
And talking to some of the like firemen and sheriff's deputies and stuff, after the 5G was initiated, like when all the towers upgraded to 5G, I don't think the radios were able to upgrade to that. And so if it didn't pick up where that tower has all 5G service better, then that's where a lot of their problems came in. So when towers upgraded, I don't think the radios upgraded with them. Kind of like if you have
Great,
an
that's
older
what I think.
phone, it's not picking up the same way it does if you go get a brand new one.
All things that we should have known before we spent that money.
Yes.
I didn't think the radios worked off the same frequency as the phones.
These do.
Huh?
I believe these do.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
They do. Because I know
They
they,
get off the same, they get on the tower, I had radios in all of my trucks, but it's been a while, but they get on the same towers, but you're not using like a Verizon signal for a radio. You are?
these are. These are, they have swapped the SIM cards multiple times now.
Oh, okay, that's the, okay.
These radios, the SIM cards in them, they're supposed to be multi-carrier SIM cards. So they're supposed to pick up whatever carrier has the strongest service in the area you're in. That's the way they're supposed to.
You just get to whatever you want and you make them agree to a contract. So you want our business, we'll put the contract down, and if they breach the contract, then y'all have, it's not, well, I'm sorry, it didn't work.
Right.
Then we go sue them on the contract.
Okay.
That's what I do.
That's what it is. That's what we do.
The other thing I did was attend the airport meeting this morning. waiting, I told Phil I wanted to know what the bid amount was for the lighting project. He said he sent it out to the airport authority. I told him I want it emailed to me so I can report back to the board what that dollar amount was. As soon as I get it, I'll bring it back to the board. The Public Works has a hot patcher. It came in, but due to a leak, I think one of the control panels malfunctioned. The supplier just brought a replacement down while that one goes under warranty repair. It's just one of those, the way he described it to me, it was just one of those fluke accidents where a leak was found and destroyed a control panel. Working with the EMC on the RFPs for the LMIG and the courthouse, they did come back with the verbiage on the task order. It's ready to be signed with a 1-year warranty minimum to be in the RFP for the courthouse. Been working on finalizing the IGA for the SPOS that we had today with the municipalities, with County Clerk, Ms. Stevens, and then finishing up the audit questions. Like I said, I just got the final rough draft, so I'm gonna look at that tonight, send it back to the audit, and hopefully we can wrap up the audit and get it submitted. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Report for County Commissioners, Commissioner Trujillo,
I don't have anything.
Commissioner Collins,
I don't have anything.
Commissioner Snelson.
I am looking forward to Peaches in the Pines this Saturday, and I hope that people will come out to Woodbury to Lake Meriwether to support that, and come support the kids with the baseball tournaments on Friday and Saturday over in Woodbury for our rec department.
Commissioner King.
There was a rodeo this weekend over in Gay at the Tower House Brewery Fairgrounds. Went off well. Thought the weather was going to mess it up, but it turned out to be a beautiful night. Good crowd. I look forward to working out some of the issues they had this time. This is the first time they're putting it on, so hopefully next year it'll be bigger and better. And just thanks to the staff and everybody, and Public Works has been doing an awesome job. People call me, complain about this, complain about that, and we don't have to do it but make one phone call. So he's like that, make one call, that's all. So things are getting done, and people are commenting on it, that they're grateful that things are getting done. So that's good to hear.
Same as that, but just thank everyone for what they're doing and all the hard work. And get out and enjoy everything that the county has to offer over the next few months. There's a lot to do between these events they mentioned, and then the river and some of the hiking trails and things. There's plenty to do here. Get out and enjoy it. Report from County Attorney.
Mr. Chairman, I have nothing to report.
Do we have need for executive session?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I would cover all four, minus personnel, but
All right, I'll read the future meetings and notices first. Will be closed on Thursday, June 19th, 2025, in observance of Juneteenth. Tuesday, June 24th, 2025, a regular meeting at 6 p.m. Will be closed Friday, July 4th, 2025, in observance of Independence Day. And Monday, July the 7th, 2025, is a regular meeting at 6 p.m. Can I get a motion to go into executive session to cover litigation, personnel, real estate, and tax matters?
Second.
All in favor? Executive session is 7:02.
I'd like to make a motion to go back to regular session.
Second.
All in favor? Back in the regular session at 7:28. No action was taken in the executive session. No other business to come before the board at this time. We get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? We're adjourned at 7:28. There we go.